Now's cuddle time.
I know.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So we are here live. I am here. So Jen and I are very animated. This is the lovely Jen Dervan, who I had never met or spoken to in any way, shape or form until 10 minutes ago. So Jen responded to a help me request that I put out into a Facebook group for beta testers to come and do these courses. And Jen responded, and she's been able to do all 3 of them. So she's the second person today who is chatting with you guys who's done all 3. So she has, and that's the only experience that Jen has of me as well, which I love, because some people who I've been speaking to have done other stuff with me. But I really want this work to be going out to those of you who have maybe been lingering in the background thinking, oh, do I work with Judith? Do I not? Or maybe those of you who are like, well, I know I need to do something, but is it going to be worth it? And I'm going to have to spend my time and more online courses. Online courses are boring. So whatever it is you might be thinking that is stopping you from going forward, I'm now going to get to know Jen, and as you get to know Jen, and also chat about the courses. So Jen, why was the vocal confidence courses, like, why was that something interesting for you to beta test?
So I saw your post on a Facebook group, and I've been struggling a little bit with speaking publicly in our town and in our community. We are having some issues around schools and the school boards, and it's my first experience having children in the school, so I feel, as a new parent, it's important to stand up and say what I think about supporting teachers or whatever the issue at hand is. What I wasn't prepared for was I had no idea how contentious these issues are. They can get very, very animated and sometimes antagonistic. So I was not prepared when I stood up to speak, which I've done in the past. I used to speak a lot at my job where I was a program manager. And I never had issues with it because I was always very comfortable with my audience. But I just started shaking and I couldn't breathe. And it was like one of those situations where I didn't even know how to kind of catch my breath and slow my brain down. So when I saw the work that you did, Judith, it rang a bell. And I was like, I should see if I can, try to beta test some of this or explore this a little bit, because it was new to me.
Yeah.
I've taken a professional development course just at my job that was offered through the HR department on public speaking, but it was nothing. It was really nothing like your course. It's very unique what you do. And it's so amazing how quickly some of the techniques that you offer, you can just use them immediately and they really will just settle you down really quickly, which I think it would be useful for everybody. I certainly found it useful, even just in my daily life, my daily practice.
I love that. Yeah, I've had a lot of people say to me, actually, work sent me on a public speaking presentations course, and it was all right, but I've never done anything. This is amazing. This works so quickly.
Yeah, it does. It does. And it feels so personal. I know you mentioned people might be hesitant because of embarking on an online type of course. But I was saying earlier, you're just so personable in the course. It's so, you make it so accessible, so relatable that I found myself laughing along with you and standing up and doing the exercises with you. And you can do it in a way where I was actually in my comfort zone because I was in my home doing it, but I could practice things that were maybe outside my comfort zone. So I wasn't actually in a giant group of people trying to do vocal exercises, which may have made me feel uncomfortable. So, and that was surprising to me too, because I was thinking what's really going to happen if I stand up and start trying this? And it changes your mood is what happens. And it really just has an immediate effect on you. And after that, after you do it, you might walk away for a day or two, but you start having these connections in your head. So, I was very aware that information was kind of moving around, and I was making adjustments even without trying to. It's like your subconscious kind of kicks in and starts working for you, instead of against you.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so good to hear. And have you, out of interest, have you been to any of those school board meetings
So
since doing these courses, or?
not one of the public physical ones. I did it actually just last night, have a meeting with a smaller committee for the school, where we definitely have some members who are very vocal about school policies and whatnot. And I felt such a change in my personality towards them too. Like I was just more grounded and more confident about being like, I have these opinions and it's okay. There's a tribe out there who also have my opinions. They might not be in the room with me right now, but I know they exist. So my opinion is worthy of speaking out. And yeah. And I think that was one of the internal conflicts I was having before when I stood up in public in front of a larger group of people was I should have probably put some thought in terms of like, well, planning out who was going to be receiving what I was saying, but I didn't. I just kind of got up there and started speaking, and I caught myself off guard. So last night when we had this meeting, I just felt so much more grounded. I felt powerful. It was great. It was a really different feeling for me, and I enjoyed it a lot.
I can't help. I'm just like,
yeah, that's making the changes, and it's about self-awareness too, right? Like about understanding that, okay, this can happen to me sometimes when I speak in front of this particular group. How do I want to feel about this, about what I'm saying? Like what I'm saying does have meaning and import behind it. Yeah. So that it really was a change for me, and it felt good. And it's not, I felt energized after instead of kind of exhausted and jittery, which was nice.
Yay. So I love it. And you did all 3 of the courses, which I'm so grateful to having all of your feedback, and just a big shout out to all my beta testers, because the courses would still be good without them, but the tweaks that you guys give me, because of course I'm so close to it, right? I'm in the work. I've done this work for so long. So the tweaks that you give me, the outside perspective, just makes sure that the courses are really 100% what you need, not what I think you need.
Right.
So how did you find the progression through them? Did it like flow naturally for you? Was it like, oh God, I've got to do this one next? Or
no, I think it did flow naturally. And I think one of the questions you were asking consistently was like, how was the length of this module or lesson? Was it too long? And I think you have a really good awareness about being precise and concise, like communicating information that is well thought out in terms of the lesson that you're teaching at the time. So I did think through the 3 courses that there's a little bit of review in each one, which I do think is necessary, because most people aren't going to be taking them back to back to back. You're going to be using one, practicing it for a while, and then taking another, but you build on all of it as well. You keep introducing more concepts in each one, especially towards the end. In the last one, you introduced the DISC concept, which I found really, like, what type of speaker are you? What type of thinker are you? What type of communicator are you? That's kind of like big work, especially like you can apply it to yourself, but you can apply it to your audience too. So you can direct your message or frame your message in different ways. And the information it's so packed with how your brain affects your body, how your breath can help control messages to your brain and therefore control your body. That is kind of woven throughout the 3 courses, which I think you develop in a really interesting way. I kept getting new tidbits. I have new pages of notes for each course, so there was more information to continue to gain from each one. And especially at the end, that final exercise you had us do in the 3rd course, which was like thinking about a speaker that you think is that resonates with you. You may have done that, and I know because you have done like theater work in the past, so that might have been something you were like aware of.
I don't know. When I created that exercise, I can't remember where it came from. It might have come from working with a client one-on-one, and they would I think it was, I can't remember which client it was now, but they were just so like caught up in their stuff that I was like, okay, well, who do you admire? Who do you think is someone who you wish, oh, I wish I had some of their energy? And then I just got them doing, and I think you're right. I think that does come from my acting background, where you have to just go, well, what if? How would I feel? Because I know I call that exercise fake it till you make it, but it's definitely not about being fake. And it's that thing of, well, if I had, and the example I use is Michelle Obama for me, because I just think she's so graceful, and grace is not something that comes naturally to me. I'm like arms, legs, chuck it around, stomp up.
I understand.
Slam the door. So it is that thing of what if I did have that grace? How would that feel? And you're right, and that's where that exercise came from. So it's definitely a combination of me working with my clients, and the natural way for me to do that was, if you're having difficulty getting into a character when you're performing, then
and it's such a great visual to have when you're thinking about, okay, well, the next time I step up in front of a group of people, even if it is spontaneously, who do I want to channel a little bit? Everybody has different facets to their personality, and you can choose to highlight different things. So I thought finishing on that was really memorable. It was a really memorable exercise, because I've admired different speakers, but I've never thought about, well, how would I want to come off if I was giving a speech somewhere? I try not to think of in my past, when I was giving presentations, I tried to never think of them as like speeches, because that's a lot of pressure, right? So I just thought that was really interesting also. But I've implemented a lot of your work, even with my own children, with some of my piano students as well, in terms of controlling how you feel or acknowledging how you feel by checking in with how your body feels, making sounds to it, breathing. You can energize yourself through your breath or calm yourself down. So I've been exploring that with people in my life too, which is
wow. Jen, I could literally talk to you for hours, but I've been on social media a lot today, and I did promise to keep these short to everyone. Thank you so much for answering that random call out in a Facebook group. You see what can happen.
Thank you.
I'm loving connecting with you. I know that you're going to want to do the sound healing part of what I'm doing as well, which there's going to be a new course for. But if anyone out there was thinking, oh, do I do it? Do I don't do it? Do I don't I? Do I don't I? What would you say to them today with these offers that I've got?
I mean, please, if you are here anyway, exploring the idea of needing some help in an area like this is such a personable and it's such a personable experience, and it was such a positive experience, and there are really simple things that you can just carry around with you that will help you immediately. So I would at least say try the first course. And I gained information and techniques, especially in the second and third courses as well. So I really can't recommend them highly enough. I could not believe some of the information and connections I began to make because I worked the way through the 3 courses. It was remarkable.
Oh, thank you so much. So for those of you who are watching, there are 3 hours and 45 minutes left of these offers. So I'm pretty sure Jen's going to be sharing that now that the East Coast of America is awake.
Absolutely.
I have 45 minutes left, and then they'll go up, but they're not going up to full price. They're going up then because I've just turned 48. So for 48 hours, they will also be at not as cheap as they are now, but not full price for the next 48 hours after this as well. So, but why wait? I'd get it while it's cheap.
Just do it. It's such a good program. It's so worth it. Treat yourself.
Oh, thank you so much, Jen. Thank you for those watching, and I'll see you in a little bit. So, Jen, I'll just end the broadcast, and then we can stay here and say goodbye properly. So,
okay,
I'll just end the live now.